Welcome to Fabric Monday. Today we'll talk about base queries in real-time dashboard. Let's discover what this is. In this demonstration, I use a custom database and I use the table taxi rights. This table taxi rights is the result of the ingestion of the taxi sample data through an event stream and saving the data in the custom database. Let's take a look on a dashboard, a real-time dashboard like this. It's completely empty. The name of this dashboard is Taxi Dash. And here we have the option to use a base query. The name gives us an idea about what this is. In this dashboard we have many tiles, multiple tiles, and each tile has a query. What if we can define some base clauses that will be included in the query? Some base statements that all the queries in the dashboard needs to have. That's what the base queries are intended about. But they have a very special way of work. Let's discover more about this. Base queries. I have an add button. This means that I can add more than one single base query. Yes, I can. So base query. This query is linked to my event house. So let's create a query. Taxi rights. What would I include as a base query that I would like every query to use? A date filter, for example. This dashboard may be used to show a specific date window. So I would like to use a date filter that needs to be followed by all other queries. Okay, let's do this. Ingestion time greater than ago 1 day. But here we have the variable name. Variable name. Yes, in previous real-time dashboard videos, we saw how the real-time dashboard uses variables, parameters, and variables. And the base query is a variable. We will create a variable containing the base query result. Base query. Done. And we see this variable here. In base queries, we can see this variable. Let me close. Let's add a tile. The base query is a variable, and I can see here base queries. I can use this variable. This means that instead of querying my table, I'll query the variable base query. In this way, I'm creating query over a query, but I ensure that all the tiles in my dashboard will be using the same base statements. For example, base query, and based on the date, I will make a summarize and count. Total rights. This will result in a single value. There it is. Let's apply changes. I can change the tile to use a state. That is it, a bit better. Now let's include the second tile. On the second tile, let's again use the base query. And let's make a different example. I will summarize the total rights equal count by drop-off location. So I'll make the summary of the total rights by drop-off location. Then I'll get the top 5 by total rights desk. That's it. Now I have a second query, and my second query is also based on my base query. Let's apply changes, and again I can change the tile configuration. This I can put as a column chart. Apply, and there it is. So I have the information about my total rights, and both queries in my real-time dashboard are using the same base query. It's simple like this, right? There are more to these base queries. We can do more tricks with the base queries. Let's open the base queries again. let's add another base query. We already used the base query as a base for our queries, but this is a variable containing the result of a query. I can use the base query as anything. And this could be a value to filter other queries, for example, a value to be used in some point of the other queries. Anything I would like. And the base query can be based in another base query. There is nothing preventing that. So, let's say I will summarize total rides by drop-off location, and I'll take an average. In this way, the result that I get here is the average of rides during the day. The average of rides during the day. This is let's say the middle value. Average by drop-off location. Done. Now I have two base queries, and I can use this second base queries to create some very interesting results. Base query. I know the average by day. What if I would like to retrieve the locations which are below the average, the drop-off locations below the average? Summarize count by drop-off location. Where total rides is smaller than the variable which contains the base query contains a query. I need to transform in a scalar value to scalar, so I can use in a comparison to scalar, and I use the variable which contains my base query, average by drop location. Well, now I'm listing all of the locations which are below the average of the day. In this way, I use the base query not exactly as a base to the query, but as a value which I use it as I would like so inside the query. So we have the option to use the base query as a base for all the queries, or use as a value in a specific place on my dashboard. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.